Back at it, CG, what have you sort of seen since coming back from the World Cup amongst the boys?
Yeah, there's some guys that have been working really hard while in the month or so that I've been away, which is good to see. And there's a group of guys that have been here for a lot of that time that are probably the most consistent out there on court and consistent in especially their training performances. So that's good to see that that's paying off.
What's it like, sort of, I guess, switching off from the World Cup and now getting back into this? Is it a transition or is it just seamless?
I've been here long enough. It's pretty seamless. There's always work to do with new people and new players and new coaches. So that's part of the challenge, which is fun. And I think although it's getting on a plane and getting out of home again pretty soon, this trip to the Gold Coast will be pretty good for us to get together as a group and spend some time and go through the fire a little bit in some games. Hopefully we get challenged and face some adversity and try and build from those situations in the games.
What are the key things that you need to get out of the Blitz to sort of go, yeah, that was a success, now move into round one?
I think we need to, for the most part, establish our defensive identity and then just get reps with each other. I mean, I think, I don't even know what day it is, but the previous training session was the first time I'd stepped on court with Luke Travers in a competitive environment. So just get reps, play with Luke as much as I can. Ian Clark, some of these new guys have been around, Kyle Bowen, Tanner, and that we did a little bit of work before the World Cup, but there's a couple guys and a couple players that we just need to get reps with each other. Like it's a little bit clunky at the moment in training, but that's to be expected. People are trying to figure out their roles and what's the best way to go about it. So reps is a key thing in my mind.
You mentioned LT and you've just stepped on the court with him. What are your sort of first impressions of his game and how he's going to fit at United?
Yeah, I loved his game against the Phoenix. I thought he was everywhere. Offensive rebounding, he was getting putbacks. He was still pretty reserved in his offense. I think it's somewhere he can expand once he feels comfortable and can figure out where his spots will be. But I thought his first showing that I saw for the club the other night was really impressive.
What about IC exploding in that last quarter? Was there any discussions at three-quarter time that I'm going to take over, or did it just happen organically in the game?
No, it just happened organically. I think Shaley came out and gave us a really good punch with our speed and pushing the ball in transition, and found IC for a couple shots, and he can shoot the ball like he rarely misses in practice. He rarely misses when he's going through his drills. So it's probably one thing I didn't know how good of a shooter he was. So that's really cool to see that we've got someone with that caliber of shooting on the roster, because all the time I'm just like, let's get more shooters, There's something about threes going in that I like, so hopefully he can bring a hell of a lot of that to the table.
So I guess an excitement for you in that there's sort of another elite shooter like yourself that can either play together or he can kind of sub in for you.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's how we best think that we can win games, and oftentimes when you shoot the ball really well, it gives you a better chance at winning the game, especially when we got guys that can defend the way that they can and the way that Dean coaches defensively. So if we could put the ball in the hole, that'll be great. And looking forward to playing with him. I think we'll be able to find each other for some good looks.
Have you reflected on the World Cup campaign?
Still doing it. Still, I guess, in a process of what I could have done better, what we could have done better. But the boys have been saying it's half time. So in 10 months' time, the second half starts, and that's the Paris Olympics. So for the Boomers program, the big 12 months coming up, and I think we'll be better for the tournament that we just had. I mean, it's no excuses. It wasn't amazing, but definitely there'll be some guys better for the tournament that we just had.
You've got the trip to the Gold Coast, and then round one comes up pretty quick. Have you looked ahead to that and had any thoughts on it?
Oh, they're asking for ticket requests, so I've thought about that. But yeah, not looking too far ahead. Let's get to Saturday night on the Gold Coast.